What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have a lot of predictions and we have a lot of, you know, tilting going on with this mega fight between undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight, world champion, superstar boxer who is widely considered by many to be top 3 pound for pound best fighters in the world, and legendary 8 division world champion, Filipino iconic superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, 62 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout 3 times in his career. He himself was knocked out. He's 42 years of age, stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. Last time we saw him in the ring is when he took on and defeated former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, July of 2019. With that said, Errol Spence, 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 21 wins by way of knockout. He is 31 years of age, stands at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. And the last time we saw him in the ring was December of 2020 when he took on and defeated 2-division world champion superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia. With that said, there's a lot of people now that are picking Manny Pacquiao. This fight came out of nowhere. It was announced May 21st of this year, and the fight is scheduled to take place August 21st of this year. With that said, it was a surprise that this fight was made. Manny Pacquiao, 11 years the elder of Errol Spence Jr. He's a smaller guy. Errol Spence is widely considered to be the best welterweight in the world. He and rival undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be #1 pound for pound fighter in the world, Terrence Bud Crawford. With that said, there's people that flip-flop, but the mass majority of people, they believe Errol Spence is the best welterweight in the world. And when this fight was made, there was a lot of people that felt and stated that, man, they're surprised because they feel, Manny Pacquiao could get seriously hurt, knocked out in this fight against Errol Spence Jr. And some people wonder, why was this fight even made? Now, there's a lot of the shifting going on as far as who the peers and boxing pundits, media, fans are picking. There was a poll done recently who would win, Errol Spence or Manny Pacquiao, and 59% of the fans picked Manny Pacquiao to win the fight. 38% of the fans picked Errol Spence, and there was a small percentage of fans that picked a draw. Okay, with that said, interestingly enough, somebody who is very well educated in the sport of boxing, that being NONITO Donaire Sr., father of legendary 4-division world champion who currently is the WBC featherweight world champion, junior featherweight world champion, superstar boxer, NONITO Donaire Jr. Okay, bantamweight, excuse me, he's a bantamweight champion. Okay, so with that said, they defied the odds in their last fight. NONITO Donaire was in a fight where he was a huge underdog. Okay, actually, his last 2 fights, he was a huge underdog against Inoue, in which NONITO Donaire, he surprised the world by giving Noe Inoue the toughest fight of his career, even breaking his face. Okay, and his latest fight against Obali, everybody expected NONITO Donaire to lose that fight as well. He was a huge underdog. He defied the odds and knocked out Nordine Obali in dramatic fashion to win the bantamweight WBC title. Obali was the champion, okay? So they know a thing or two about, defying the odds. Because NONITO Donaire, 41 wins, 6 losses, no draws, 27 wins by way of knockout. One time in his career, he was knocked out. 38 years of age, 5'7" with a 68-inch arm reach. Similar in stature to Manny Pacquiao, Filipino boxer. So NONITO Donaire Sr., who's like I said, educated within the sport of boxing, he says that he sees a lot of weaknesses in Errol Spence. He stated that Errol Spence has not displayed the same punching power he once had. He's an accumulation puncher, and that won't work. That won't bowl well against Manny Pacquiao because you don't get many clean punches on Manny Pacquiao to begin with. Errol Spence has a 5-inch arm reach. Errol Spence has a 5-inch height advantage. They're both southpaws, so he eliminates the southpaw advantage that Manny Pacquiao would normally have. Okay, Errol Spence is the more skilled guy. Okay, Manny Pacquiao is, unorthodox, very explosive, a lot of power, a lot of speed, foot speed, hand speed. Okay, he could put you in positions you're not comfortable with. That's what you get from Manny Pacquiao. With that said, Errol Spence is just more technically sound, more accurate than Manny Pacquiao. But Nonito Donaire Sr., he believes that that won't matter because he stated that he paid very, very close attention to Errol Spence's fight with Mikey Garcia, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who is similar in stature to Manny Pacquiao, 5'6", 68-inch arm reach. Okay, Manny Pacquiao's 5'5", 67-inch arm reach. Okay, so he stated that he paid very close attention to that. And that fight, yes, Errol Spence displayed that he has a lot of boxing skills. Okay, a lot of technique. He's technically sound, but he doesn't have much power. And so he states that Errol Spence, is going to get knocked out by the 6th round. He says that he don't believe Errol Spence, for one, is the same guy since suffering that horrific car accident just 12 days after unifying the titles against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Shawn Porter. Okay, Errol Spence coming off a 14-month layoff. He even stated that he was only 80% when he took on Danny Garcia, who is a big puncher. Okay, Danny Garcia has power in both hands. He's a counter puncher. He's a 2-division world champion. He was unified at the junior welterweight division. So Danny Garcia is no slouch. Okay, Danny Garcia is well respected in the sport of boxing. Okay, so with that said, Nonito Donaire Sr., he points to the fact that he don't believe that Errol Spence is the same guy. This is interesting because who repeated this is Manny Pacquiao's team. When they watched Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, they said they saw a lot of holes and a lot of vulnerabilities in Errol Spence's game. And Errol Spence, he did say he was only 80% in the Danny Garcia fight. Okay, but with that said, they expect Nonito Donaire Sr., he expects Manny Pacquiao to knock out Errol Spence in the 6th round. Okay, Nonito Donaire, he personally broke down the fight junior, and he said that it's going to be very difficult, a very interesting fight, but he himself is picking Errol Spence because he's the younger, bigger, stronger man. But obviously he won't be surprised if Manny Pacquiao, who is a close friend of his and a fellow countryman in the Philippines of his, he says no walk in the park, he's a legend. But the fact that Nonito Donaire Jr., he says that Errol Spence's southpaw stance, his technical ability is going to take away the little pockets that Manny Pacquiao likes to hide in when he throws his punches and leans in left or right. It's going to take away, Manny Pacquiao's unorthodoxness, to put you in bad, and put you in positions where you're not comfortable and when you can't counter him, because the southpaw stance of Errol Spence and the range and the length of Errol Spence is going to eliminate that. Okay, that's not what Nonito Donaire Sr. is of the belief. He believes that Manny Pacquiao is not going to let Errol Spence get past the 6th round. With that, I say this. I hope when Errol Spence Jr. wins this fight against Manny Pacquiao that the energy doesn't change. I hope that Errol Spence gets full credit. Just like you had, again, 59% of the fans voted that Manny Pacquiao, out of 150,000 fans, 59% of the fans voted that Manny Pacquiao win the fight, and only 38% voted that Errol Spence would win the fight. Okay? You have boxing pundits that are saying that Errol Spence is flat-footed. Okay? Errol Spence is not mobile enough. He's too slow for Manny Pacquiao. So when Nonito Donaire Sr. says he expects Manny Pacquiao to knock out Errol Spence by the 6th round, I hope Errol Spence gets full credit should he beat Manny Pacquiao August 21st. I don't want to hear that Manny Pacquiao suddenly aged overnight. I don't want to hear that Manny Pacquiao was past his prime. I don't want to hear that Father Time decided that this was the time that Manny Pacquiao can no longer be Manny Pacquiao that we're accustomed to. I want to hear that Errol Spence nullified that of what Manny Pacquiao done well, thus the reason why he won the fight. Because when Manny Pacquiao beat Oscar De La Hoya, although Oscar De La Hoya was viewed to be past his prime, he was slower in the fight. Everybody gave Manny Pacquiao full credit for beating Oscar De La Hoya simply because he came up so far in weight. He was a much smaller guy. There was many people thought that Manny Pacquiao could seriously get hurt against Oscar De La Hoya. But nonetheless, he didn't. He dominated Oscar De La Hoya. And so with that, there's many people that are picking Manny Pacquiao in this fight. And I hope after the fight, should Errol Spence be victorious, he gets full credit. Now we know that the WBA is essentially going to have another voting in which they're looking to promote they're looking to vote so they could, have possibly reinstate Manny Pacquiao, who was placed as champion in recess due to inactivity over 2 years. By the time this fight happened to be 2 years and a month since he fought, and hasn't defended the title in the top 10 ranking system under their sanction body. They're going to petition to, take a vote and see if the board wants to reinstate Manny Pacquiao as the champion. He is champion in recess. And with that said, that would mean that there's 3 belts on the line. And we now know that the Ring magazine has also decided to put their belt on the line. So the lineal belt will be on the line, the IBF, the WBC belts, and possibly the WBA. So this is an absolute super fight amongst 2 high quality, high profile athletes, and the best man should get all the credit for their victory, especially Errol Spence, seeing as though there's a lot of people I'm seeing that's starting to doubt that Errol Spence could win this fight. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button, drop a comment in the comment section, let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Oh, it is your boy Jada Kiss. Make sure you check out Blue Blood Sports TV. It's going down.